Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today we're going to be doing my October monthly budget recap using the printable version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook from the Budget Mom. If you are interested in seeing that, please stick around. I thought I would start this budget recap with a look at my October monthly view. The reason why I wanted to do this is because from my monthly view, October does not seem like a wild or crazy month. I have all of my normal bills on here. I have my savings for the 2021 Savings Challenge from the Budget Mom, but I didn't have to pull anything in terms of a bill due from my sinking funds. And I didn't indicate on here that I did go away for a weekend, but I did. And I basically just wanted to show you all that even though my monthly spread looks great, my budget 100% revealed that I way overspent this month. And I did have a feeling that that was going to happen in a couple of categories because of the fact that I went away for a weekend. I was gone. It was either the 8th through the 11th or the 9th through the 11th. I can't even remember at this point, but I did go away to visit my sister for a weekend. And so I was assuming that I was going to go over budget in my eating out category, potentially in my miscellaneous spending a little bit, but I went over a bunch in other categories too. And so, yeah, let's take a look. Let's see what happened. So I'm going to cut forward to the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. We will be starting with the monthly budget category breakdown. This is part of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets, which are kind of the wrap-up section of the monthly budget when using the Budget Mom's Budget by Paycheck Workbook and method. So first it starts out with figuring out your total monthly income. So I brought in $1,644.30 from the month of September into October. The reason why that amount is so high is because I actually was paid on the last day of September. So a lot of my money that, a lot of the money from that last paycheck was actually spent in the month of October. And that might be part of why some of this stuff is looking a little off. And I'll get more in detail with that. What I earned, well, I shouldn't say earned. My incoming income for the month of October was $6,692.13. That is my earned income, but it also included money from my Christmas, birthday, and car maintenance sinking funds. And it also included like just small reimbursements for things like if I picked something up for my mom and she paid me back, stuff like that. If I add those two values together, my total monthly income is going to be $8,336.43. Now, ideally, all of your expenses from all of your different budget categories will add up to be that amount. Taking it category by category, I actually underspent in my groceries. Okay, well, actually, let me not even go that far yet. So, okay, when I come up with my monthly budgets for each budget category, I'm basing it off of the fact that I'm getting 2 paychecks in that pay period. Okay, which is correct. I was paid twice in the month of October. And one of those paychecks actually only came just a few days ago, but I've definitely done some spending in the last few days since I got paid. So I got paid on the 28th. I did a lot of spending on the 28th, paying bills and stuff. I didn't spend much on the 29th, but I did spend a little bit on the 30th, and I did spend a little bit today, which is the 31st. So in those 4 days, I've definitely done spending, and it's reflected in these values here. This doesn't take into account that I got paid on the last day of September, and so the majority of those funds were spent in October. And again, I think that's why we're seeing so much red on this page. Apart from these 3 down here, those are just sinking funds. But all of this in here, I think that's a little bit of a factor as to why I'm so far over in a bunch of categories. So, category by category. I budget groceries, $200 per pay period, which is a $400 total. I ended up spending $325.43, so I was under budget by $47.50 or I'm sorry, $74.57. Eating out. I was anticipating that I was going to be over budget in this category because I went away, and I was. Not as bad as I thought, which I'm really grateful for, but I budget $100. That's $50 a pay period. I ended up spending $209.47, so I was over $100 over budget. For gas, I mentioned in my last budget with me, which I can definitely link right up here, that gas prices are increasing. Actually, I think I mentioned it in my cash envelope stuffing, which I'll link up here. But gas prices are increasing. When I went to fill up my tank the other day, it was $3.50 or $3.49 a gallon, something like that. So I did spend a total of $130. I pulled what was over my gas budget from my miscellaneous envelope. I'm not going to increase my gas budget for November or December, but I'm definitely going to be looking to see if I'm continuously over budget, because then in January I will change this amount here. For miscellaneous, my goal is always to get better with my miscellaneous spending. This is the category that I struggle with the most. I always budget $400, which is $200 per pay period. I was anticipating that I might be a little over budget because I did go away for a weekend, but I was a lot over budget. I was over budget by $242.88, which is a total bummer. Even worse than that is my miscellaneous bill section. Now, I created this budget category just a month ago, or like 2 months ago, in order to account for things that I know I'm going to be, like, times that I know I'm going to be spending money, but it doesn't correspond with any other budget category. So perfect example was in September, I was in I went to a wedding. It was out of state and I had to pay for a hotel. So that ended up being something that I marked off as a miscellaneous bill. I budgeted for it, but it didn't really quite go into any of my other budget categories, because this miscellaneous spending category is really just my miscellaneous cash spending. The $200 I put every pay period into my miscellaneous cash envelope. And so, for the month of October, I had a bunch of things pop up, like unexpected things. It was rough, honestly. And like, I don't want to get upset about it because there's just no reason to. I had the money. I was able to pay for those things in cash. Some of them I did like put on a card and then just paid for in cash, so I could get like some cash back amount. Almost $600 of this is for something that I put on a credit card that was a work expense that I did end up getting reimbursed for, so it is reflected in my income. But yeah, I spent so much in this miscellaneous bills category for this month, $1,896.60, and I'm just really, really hoping that the month of October does not bring forth more of these things that I, can budget for, but that aren't really expected or I'm not anticipating. Like, I'm desperate to not have this be this high again. Savings. So my goal is always $3,000, technically towards my house savings more specifically, but I put it as a general figure here. I ended up saving $3,087.50, so technically over budget, which is why it's red, even though it's good to be over budget in your savings. My utilities were right on point with $430.28. My housing was the same. Giving was right on point. And then I did bring in almost $125 from my Christmas sinking fund, $25 from my birthday sinking fund, and then $87.82 from my car maintenance sinking fund. I am rolling from October into November, $808.01. Again, I was just paid a few days ago, and so even though I paid the majority of the bills that I have to pay, I think all except one. Let's see here. It's just my Spotify that I have yet to pay with the paycheck I received on October 28th. I always have a $500 cushion in my checking account. This does include grocery money, which I've only spent about $50 since the 28th on groceries, so there's still $150 there, and then my cash and my cash envelopes. So if I add all of that up, the total is $8,387.43, which means that we were off by $51. I have no idea where, and honestly, like, doing all of this and seeing this overspending in here was like so deflating that I just did not have the mental bandwidth to go back and look for this $51. So I'm just leaving it be. It is what it is. We're starting anew in November. All right. If I flip you all over to the monthly debt and savings breakdown, we do not have anything listed under the debt side because I don't have any revolving debt. My only debt that I have is my student loan debt. I'm not currently paying on it right now, so that's why that's blank. For savings. So this is actually an area where if you've purchased the newest version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook, or if you've watched on the Budget Mom's YouTube channel her most recent recap, which was October as well, I think it just posted yesterday, then you'll know that this section in here is definitely a little bit different. So is the income section, like where you mark off on the category breakdown, like all this income stuff. That is a little bit different in the new version of the Budget by Paycheck Workbook. And I'm really, really excited about that change because I do agree with the Budget Mom. It gives you a much more accurate idea of just how much you put towards savings. So it asks for your monthly income, which for me was $8,336.43. In the new version, it's an inflow, meaning it's what you rolled over and what you brought in with your income, but not any savings used, so not any sinking funds used, something like that. But anyways, I ended up saving $3,087.50, which means that I saved a total of 37% of my income. Not bad. Definitely not as much as last time, but we'll get more into that when we look at the comparison. For my savings categories, I have my house, the 2021 savings challenge, $5 challenge, emergency fund, and sinking funds. And obviously my number one savings goal, I talk about it all the time, is my house savings. I'm trying to reach a goal of saving $30,000 in 2021 to put towards a house, a down payment on a house. And we are not making as much progress as I would want, but we are reaching ever closer to that. For the month of October, I did put $2,357.50 towards that, which was 76.4% of what I saved this month. 2021 savings challenges got $75, $5 challenge got $40, emergency fund got $75, and my sinking funds got $540. All of these are important, but house savings definitely the most important, so it's really nice to see that it had such a high percentage of what I saved. And I did want to give you all a update on how much more I have to save to get to that $30,000, and I'm really, really super happy to say that we are only $5,057.78 away from reaching that goal. That's basically $2,500 for each month left in 2021 in what I would have to save. I actually think that's fairly doable. Seeing that during the month of October, I put over $2,300 in. I believe in September, that was definitely higher. Let's see. In the month of September, I put almost $4,000 towards my house savings. It was like $3,896. In the month of July, I put $2,800 in the month. Oh no, that was in August. Sorry. In the month of July, I put $2,400. So I do think it is feasible and realistic for me to save $5,000 or like a little over $5,000 in the next 2 months. Part of the reason why is because I am very, very determined to get my miscellaneous bill spending under control. 2, I am getting a raise. I did mention that in my last budget with me. No, that's a lie. Did I mention it? I don't think I've mentioned it yet. I am going to be getting a raise. It's not like a huge life-changing raise. It's just an annual raise, but every little bit counts. And so, whatever that is reflected in my paycheck will be able to go towards savings since my expenses aren't increasing. And then also too, I usually do get a bonus at my work. We get a bonus usually in the month of December. We did not get one last year. Which was a really tough pill to swallow. I work in healthcare, and obviously 2020 was a very, very, very difficult time for those of us, for everyone, I should say, for everyone. But for those that work in healthcare and those that were working in inpatient healthcare with COVID patients before a vaccine existed, it was scary and it was stressful. And so to have done all of that and then not receive a bonus last year was very frustrating. And so I'm really glad that that's back for this year. I don't know what it's going to be. They actually usually release the percentage amount towards the end of November because we get it in December. So whatever that is, that's going to go directly towards my house savings. So I'm not using that bonus to budget at all. So to budget for my bills, I should say, at all. So I do think that I'm going to be able to hit my $30,000 goal. I'm fingers crossed, praying that it happens. I do think it's going to happen. I'm remaining positive about it, even though this month was rough from a miscellaneous bills spending perspective. All right. And then the last page in the Where Did My Money Go worksheets is the monthly spending comparison, which I initially didn't always think was useful or helpful, but now, oh my gosh, I love this sheet. I think it's actually super helpful. I'm trying to zoom in just a little bit more. So basically it allows you to compare what you spent the previous month to what you spend in the current month. And the reason why I like this is because it gets down to the nitty-gritty of each category, and it can allow you to make smaller goals that you can hopefully achieve in the next month or in the coming few months. So even though I overspent a bunch in the month of October, most of my categories I was under budget for in the month of when comparing to the month of September. And I think the reason for that is that my income went down by $1,670.46. I don't recall exactly why there was such a decrease in my budget. Could have been because of categories that I brought in for sinking funds and stuff like that. I think I might have in the month of September also had a very large reimbursement from my job for work-related expenses that I initially paid for. So yeah, I usually forget to fill this in, but I remembered this time. And I do think it makes sense when I see all of the change amounts here on the side. So for, when looking at groceries, I underspent when compared to last month by over $100. For eating out, which I was really happy about, I underspent by $125 when compared to September. My gas did increase by $43. And again, that makes sense to me as well. Gas prices are definitely increasing. I mean, if I look back in July, for the month of July, I spent $74 on gas. For the month of August, I spent, let's see, 93, which was a little high for me. In September, I spent 87. So gas prices are definitely going up. 130 is way more than I've been spending. For miscellaneous, again, this is one of those categories that's always really rough for me. Oh no, sorry everyone. And I overspent by over $175. For my miscellaneous bills, I do recall doing my budget recap in September and saying, oh, this needs to go down $900. That's a lot. I need this to be way lower next month. I doubled it. I basically doubled it. I overspent when compared to last month by over $900. I am desperate for that category to not be that high next month. For savings, I did save less by $1,900 in the month of October when compared to September. But again, I mean, that most of that is reflected here just in that monthly income change. Pretty similar for utilities, same for housing, same for giving. Obviously, over budget in these three here, my Christmas, birthday, and car maintenance sinking funds, because I didn't spend out of them at all during the month of September. And then under for subscriptions and medical, because I didn't spend out of them in the month of October. So a lot of this stuff at the bottom makes sense and is just like normal fluctuation when you're using a sinking fund or then not using a sinking fund. But this definitely, I will say this makes sense given the income change and all of that stuff. But again, I'm a little stressed out about how much miscellaneous bill spending I had this month. I think that's coming across. So for the month of November, and I keep there's a pocket in the back here and all my stuff keeps flying out of my pocket. Ay. Okay, so for the month of November, let's zoom on out a bit. I do hope and pray we have a more calm, more normal, less spendy month. I don't have a ton of big stuff going on in November that I know of now. I don't travel for Thanksgiving, so I don't have to worry about any travel expenses or costs during this long weekend here. When is Thanksgiving? I think it's on the 25th. It's on that payday. That payday may be coming a day early. I can never remember what my job does, but the only thing that's kind of out of the norm is that my Disney Plus is due on the 19th of November, but I do have a sinking fund for that, which is why it's in orange here. That's the color that I indicate for sinking fund bills. So I am going to be pulling that money from a sinking fund. It doesn't have to come out of my regular paycheck budgets. And I'm just really hoping that this month is much more calm. I think I've been saying that for the last 2 months. But I'm hoping to really hone down on my spending in November and December in order to put as much money as possible to my house savings so that I can reach that $30,000 goal, pass that $30,000 goal, and feel very motivated and very strong going into 2022. I hope that you all enjoyed this October monthly budget recap. If you have any questions or comments, please do not hesitate to put them down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.